Did you know that every year more than 795,000 Americans suffer a stroke? That's nearly one every 40 seconds. The most heartbreaking part is that many of these strokes could actually be prevented if only the early warning signs our body sends were recognized in time. A stroke is not always the sudden enemy many people imagine. In reality, the body often begins to warn us weeks, sometimes even a month before the actual stroke occurs. The problem is that these warnings are subtle, easy to dismiss, and often brushed aside as just aging, stress, or simple fatigue. That very underestimation causes hundreds of thousands to lose their golden opportunity to stop a stroke before it steals away their health, memory, and independence. The good news is that when recognized early and acted upon quickly, the risk of disability and death from stroke drops dramatically. Studies show that those treated within the golden window recover far better than those who arrive late at the hospital. In other words, recognizing those early signs can mean the difference between living a normal life and facing a future completely overturned by stroke. In today's video, we'll explore 7 early warning signs that may appear up to a month before a stroke. Some may seem harmless, like ongoing fatigue or subtle vision changes, but in truth, they are red flags, signaling that your brain may be in danger. Others, such as sudden severe headaches or unexpected speech problems, are more obvious but too often blamed on stress or age. Our mission is to learn how to tell the difference, listen carefully to our body, and most importantly, never ignore any of these signals. Sign number 1. Persistently high blood pressure. Among all the risk factors that lead to stroke, persistently high blood pressure is by far the most dangerous. It's often called the silent killer because for years it can quietly damage your blood vessels without causing any clear symptoms. By the time complications show up, the consequences are usually severe. Think of your blood vessels like winding rivers flowing through your body. When the water flows at a normal pressure, the riverbanks stay strong. But if the water rises and rushes with force day after day, the banks erode, crack, and eventually collapse. High blood pressure works the same way. It weakens vessel walls, makes it easier for plaque to build up, and increases the chance of blood clots forming. This sets the stage for 2 life-threatening outcomes, either a blocked vessel causing an ischemic stroke or a ruptured vessel leading to a hemorrhagic stroke. The danger is that many people don't even know they're living with high blood pressure. Symptoms like frequent headaches, dizziness, heart palpitations, or shortness of breath are often ignored or brushed off as fatigue or stress. But in reality, these may be warning bells that your brain and blood vessels are under far too much pressure. The positive side is that high blood pressure can be fully managed if you take action early. Regular blood pressure checks, especially for those over 50 or with a family history of the condition, allow you to catch problems before they become dangerous.
Even a few small lifestyle changes can make a big difference. Cutting back on salt, limiting processed foods, exercising regularly with simple routines like brisk walking or cycling, and learning to manage stress through meditation, deep breathing, or relaxing hobbies. In many cases, doctors may prescribe medication to keep blood pressure under control, and following treatment faithfully can greatly reduce your stroke risk. That little number on your blood pressure monitor may seem harmless, but in reality, it's a mirror reflecting the health of your brain. If it consistently runs higher than normal, it's not just a number, it's your body's direct warning that a stroke could be on the horizon. Recognizing this early and taking action today may be the single most important decision you make to protect your life tomorrow. Sign number 2, unexplained fatigue. We all know what it feels like to be tired. After a long, stressful day or a sleepless night, exhaustion is expected. But when fatigue becomes persistent with no clear reason and doesn't improve even after proper rest, it may be a warning sign that your brain is in danger. In the stage leading up to a stroke, the brain may not be getting enough blood flow because arteries are gradually narrowing. When the stream of oxygen and nutrients can't reach the brain as it should, nerve cells are forced to function in a state of shortage. The result is a constant feeling of sluggishness, low energy, and heaviness, even when you haven't overexerted yourself.
This is one of the most commonly overlooked symptoms, often dismissed as aging, stress, or the pressures of daily life. In some cases, this unusual fatigue shows up during what are called transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs, often referred to as mini-strokes. These episodes usually last only a few minutes to a few hours before fading away, but they are powerful warnings that a major stroke could be on the horizon. If you find yourself in this situation, especially when combined with other risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, or a family history of stroke, don't ignore it. Fatigue may not simply be a normal part of aging. Instead, it could be your body's quiet whisper that your brain isn't getting the oxygen it needs. Don't wait until a full-blown stroke strikes. A simple health check, a routine blood pressure reading, or a carotid artery ultrasound could reveal the cause and help you prevent disaster in time. Unexplained fatigue may seem like a small sign, but sometimes it's the biggest opportunity you'll ever have to save yourself. Sign number 3. Vision problems. Your eyes are not only the windows to the soul, they're also windows into your brain's health. One of the early warning signs of stroke can silently show up as unusual changes in vision. Many people overlook these warnings, assuming they're just signs of aging or eye strain, and in doing so, miss the chance to prevent a stroke before it happens. When the arteries supplying blood to the brain or to the optic nerves become narrowed or blocked, the blood flow that nourishes your eyes is reduced.
This can trigger a range of symptoms: sudden blurred vision, double vision, floating dark spots, or even temporary loss of sight in one or both eyes. These episodes often come on suddenly and may last only a few minutes before disappearing, leading many to dismiss them as nothing serious. But in reality, they may be transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs, sometimes called warning strokes. The danger with vision-related symptoms is that they usually don't cause pain, making them easy to ignore. But think about it this way: if the blood vessels feeding your eyes are already affected, then other vessels in your brain may also be in jeopardy. In other words, your eyes may be sounding the alarm before your brain faces something far more serious. Many eye doctors report that during a routine eye exam, they can often spot early signs of high blood pressure, diabetes, and even stroke risk. This shows just how important it is not to dismiss even the slightest changes in your vision. If you suddenly notice blurred vision, fuzzy images, or temporary loss of sight, don't assume it's just age or fatigue. Treat it as an urgent warning. Seeing a doctor right away could uncover the cause and may even prevent a major stroke from striking in the near future. Remember, your eyes don't just let you see the world around you. They also reflect what's happening inside your body. When your vision changes unexpectedly, it may be your body's way of urging you to act immediately. Sign number 4. Unusual headaches. Almost everyone has experienced headaches, whether from lack of sleep, stress, or even a change in the weather.
But there is one type of headache that is completely different. A sudden, severe headache that may signal a stroke is on the way. The key difference lies in the intensity and how it begins. While ordinary headaches are often dull and can ease with pain medication, stroke-related headaches usually strike out of nowhere, feel explosive, like a bolt of lightning, and don't improve with rest. The pain may spread behind the eyes, down the neck, or across the face, and may come with nausea, vomiting, or sensitivity to light. The most common cause of this symptom is a hemorrhagic stroke, which happens when a blood vessel in the brain bursts, causing bleeding and pressure to build inside the skull. The bleeding not only damages nearby brain tissue, but also compresses the entire brain, producing an excruciating, relentless headache. Another possible cause is a ruptured brain aneurysm, an especially dangerous emergency that requires immediate medical attention. The problem is, many people mistake this kind of pain for a migraine or a stress headache and simply endure it or reach for over-the-counter medication. That delay can be devastating. In reality, with this type of headache, every single minute matters. If you or a loved one ever experience a headache so severe that it feels unlike anything you've ever had before, treat it as an emergency. Don't wait for it to pass. Call 911 or go straight to the ER. In the case of a hemorrhagic stroke, even a few hours of delay can mean permanent brain damage or even death.
Sign 5. Numbness or weakness in the limbs. This is one of the most classic and recognizable warning signs of a stroke. What makes it unique is that it usually affects only one side of the body. For example, your right arm may suddenly feel weak, or your left leg may become heavy and difficult to control. The mechanism behind this symptom lies in an interruption of blood flow to the brain. When the area of the brain responsible for movement and sensation doesn't receive enough oxygen, nerve signals are disrupted, and the body loses its normal ability to function. You might notice that your arm or leg feels unusually weak, that you can't grip objects firmly, or that your steps become unsteady, almost as if your leg can no longer hold you. The worrying part is that this numbness or weakness may last only a few minutes or a few hours before disappearing. Often, this is the sign of a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, sometimes called a mini-stroke. Many people ignore it because the symptoms go away on their own. But in reality, a TIA is a red alert warning that a full-blown stroke could strike in the near future. A simple way to remember and spot this early is with the FAST rule. F. Face. Does one side of the face droop when smiling? A. Arms. Can both arms be raised, or does one drift downward? S. Speech. Is the speech slurred, hard to understand, or strangely jumbled? T. Time. If you notice any of these signs, act immediately. Call 911.
Numbness or weakness in the limbs should never be brushed off as just muscle fatigue or bad posture. When it happens suddenly and without reason, it is a clear warning that the brain is in serious trouble. Every passing minute means millions of brain cells are dying, and the chances of recovery shrink. Sign number 6. Speech problems. You may notice this when someone suddenly begins to slur their words, stutter, or cannot express themselves clearly, even though they remain fully alert. This is not ordinary confusion or the occasional struggle to find the right word. It is a breakdown in language function caused by a lack of blood flow to the brain. When a blood clot or burst vessel affects language centers, such as Broca's or Wernicke's areas, the person may struggle to form or understand speech. They may know exactly what they want to say, yet be unable to get the words out, or they may speak in disconnected, nonsensical fragments. In other cases, they may suddenly be unable to understand others, as if their familiar language has turned into a foreign one. Speech problems can appear in many different forms. For some, it may be just a slight slur, enough to make the voice sound unusual compared to normal. For others, it might mean being unable to form a complete sentence, or repeating meaningless words over and over. In the most severe cases, communication may break down almost entirely,
leaving both the person and those around them confused and frightened.
The danger is that many people dismiss these changes, thinking they're caused by stress, fatigue, or simply aging. In reality, this may be one of the clearest signs that a stroke is developing. And if it occurs alongside other symptoms, like numbness in the arm or leg or a drooping face, the situation is already an emergency. That's why in the FAST rule, the S stands for speech, reminding us to pay attention to any sudden change in the way someone talks. If a person cannot repeat a simple sentence or if their speech suddenly becomes difficult to understand, act immediately. Call 911 right away. The sooner treatment begins, the greater the chance of survival and recovery. Language is the bridge that connects us to the world. When that bridge suddenly breaks, it's never a small issue. Treat it as a warning bell from your brain and respond quickly before it's too late. Sign number 7. Sudden neurological changes. A stroke doesn't always begin with obvious signs like facial drooping or slurred speech. Sometimes the body sends out more subtle warnings, and one of the most important is sudden neurological changes. These shifts may appear in everyday life, easily mistaken for fatigue or aging, but in truth, they signal that the brain may be in danger. You might notice a sudden loss of balance when standing up, stumbling as if you were drunk, or being unable to coordinate your arms and legs the way you used to. Sometimes it's just a dizzy, spinning sensation, or even collapsing without a clear reason.
These symptoms occur when blood flow to the cerebellum, part of the brain that controls balance and coordination, is disrupted. Neurological changes can also show up in thinking and memory. A person may struggle to recall recent events, mix up times, or feel disoriented in familiar situations. At times, they may seem unusually clumsy, dropping objects or having trouble with simple tasks like buttoning a shirt. What makes these symptoms especially dangerous is that they often come and go quickly, leading many to think, "I just stood up too fast," or "I'm just tired and forgot for a moment." But in reality, these could be signs of a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, often considered the earliest warning that a major stroke is about to happen. A stroke doesn't always strike out of the blue like a lightning bolt. More often, it knocks on the door with subtle neurological changes, waiting for you to notice. And if you listen to your body in time, you may be the one who makes the difference between a devastating brain injury and a safe, independent life. We've just walked through 7 critical warning signs that can appear weeks, even a month before a stroke: persistently high blood pressure, unexplained fatigue, vision changes, severe headaches, numbness or weakness in the limbs, speech problems, and sudden neurological changes. Each of these is a quiet signal from your body, urging you to pay attention. But with so many symptoms, how can you and your loved ones remember them quickly and respond without hesitation?
The answer is the Be Fast rule, a simple, easy-to-remember tool recommended by health experts across the U.S. to spot strokes early. B. Balance. Sudden loss of balance or trouble standing steady. E. Eyes. Blurred vision, double vision, or temporary loss of sight. F. Face. One side of the face droops when smiling. A. Arms. One arm feels weak or drifts downward. S. Speech. Slurred, unclear, or difficult speech. T. Time. If you see any of these signs, call 911 immediately. Be Fast is more than a memory trick. It's a life-saving key in those critical minutes. Every passing minute means millions of brain cells are lost forever. The faster you recognize and act, the higher the chance of recovery and the lower the risk of long-term disability. And now that you know the early warning signs and the quick recognition tool, let's take the next step, learning how to lower your stroke risk starting today. Because prevention is always better than treatment, and it's the small daily habits that can protect your brain and heart for years to come.
The truth is, most stroke risk factors can be controlled through healthy lifestyle choices and proper medical care. This means you can significantly reduce your risk simply by making steady, lasting changes in your everyday routine. One of the top priorities is controlling blood pressure and blood sugar. High blood pressure and diabetes are the two biggest culprits that damage blood vessel walls, making them more likely to narrow, block, or rupture.
You can monitor your blood pressure at home with an electronic cuff, aiming to keep it below 120 to 80 millimeters of mercury if possible. For diabetes, focus on a diet low in added sugars, limit refined carbs, and follow your doctor's guidance when it comes to medications. Maintaining a healthy weight is another powerful way to protect your brain. Excess weight raises your risk of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes, all gateways to stroke. You don't have to lose weight overnight. With steady exercise and small dietary adjustments, progress will come. In fact, research shows that losing just 5 to 10% of your body weight can bring noticeable benefits for both heart and brain health. As for physical activity, aim for at least 150 minutes of exercise each week. This can be as simple as brisk walking, cycling, swimming, or joining a yoga class. Regular movement doesn't just improve circulation, it also helps reduce stress, a silent but serious threat to cardiovascular health. Your diet also plays an essential role. Aim for a Mediterranean or DASH-style eating plan, rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, fatty fish like salmon, along with nuts and heart-healthy plant oils. Cutting back on salt, sugar, fried foods, and red meat helps reduce the strain on your blood vessels. In short, think of food as your body's natural medicine, nourishing and protecting you from within. Just as important are two life-changing choices: quitting smoking and limiting alcohol.
Cigarettes damage the lining of blood vessels, speeding up clot and plaque formation, while alcohol can raise blood pressure and harm the liver. Giving up these two habits can bring powerful benefits, sometimes noticeable within just a few months. Don't overlook the value of good sleep and stress management. Poor quality sleep raises the risk of high blood pressure, obesity, and diabetes, while chronic stress floods the body with hormones that weaken blood vessels. Make it a priority to get 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep each night. Stick to a consistent bedtime and carve out time for relaxing activities like meditation, deep breathing, or reading. Finally, think of regular health checkups as your safety net. Blood pressure checks, blood sugar tests, cholesterol screenings, and when needed, a carotid artery ultrasound. All of these help you catch problems early and take action before they turn into tragedy. We've taken a long journey together. The key thing to remember is this: a stroke does not happen without reason. It is the result of years of damage to the blood vessels caused by high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, stress, and unhealthy lifestyle choices. But at the same time, you have the power to rewrite your story through the choices you make each day.
By paying closer attention to small warning signs, checking your blood pressure regularly, eating wisely, staying active, and keeping up with routine exams, you hold the opportunity to prevent one of the leading causes of death and disability. Never assume "I'm fine" or "it's just old age." Many people who arrive at the hospital with a major stroke had already experienced small warning signs. They simply ignored them. Don't let that happen to you or your loved ones. Recognize early, act quickly. That is how you protect your brain, preserve your clarity, and maintain the independence you value so deeply. Before we wrap up, I want to invite you to do something simple yet deeply meaningful. Share your own experience in the comments. Have you or a loved one ever noticed one of these warning signs? By telling your story, you can inspire others and provide a powerful reminder that may help save lives. If you found today's information helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell.
Each week, we bring you practical, easy-to-follow health tips designed especially for adults over 50 in the U.S. These simple tools can help you take control of your health, protect your brain and heart, and keep your energy strong so you can enjoy the clarity, independence, and vitality you deserve.